Good morning and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Conversation. My name is Ria Cotton and I'm the broker owner of Cotton Realty. And thank you for joining us for another episode. Today I have with me Miyana Epps, who is a real estate agent at Cotton Realty. Good morning, Yana.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. And so today I wanted to do an agent spotlight and give you a little insight on the people that make up Cotton Realty through an agent spotlight. And so, Yana, I just want you to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in real estate.
So, I was born and raised in Berkeley, California. I come from a real estate family. My grandparents were real estate investors. My parents were real estate investors. Aunts and uncles, all real estate investors. And so essentially I got into real estate because I wanted to become like the family realtor. So I saw opportunity to at least do transactions for my family. And that's how I got into real estate.
Okay, and so, basically we've talked about it, and I tell all the agents at Cotton Realty, when you come into Cotton Realty, it's not just a real estate company. We want to basically develop ourselves as a team of investors for our own exit plan. So we're entering Cotton Realty with the exit plan in mind and how we are going to establish wealth for ourselves and towards our retirement. So what does that look like for you, Yana?
Okay, so I got my license about 11 years ago now, and so I started in real estate working with retail buyers and sellers, and for me, my passion is actually rehabbing. So I'm an investor, and my plan is to grow my rental portfolio. So I'm looking to do transactions here in the Bay Area for fix and flip, and I'm also looking for rentals out of state. So eventually, if I can get to that magic number in passive income, that would be the day that I retire.
Great, and that's awesome to hear. And tell me, what do you just said it. I was going to ask you what you enjoy most about real estate, but it's actually the rehab process. And so do you find with your clients that you're educating them on that process and how to make the most of your rehab?
So yeah, I do some consulting as well. So that's always been something that I've been interested in. I knew that I was drawn to that from a young age. Like I remember like randomly walking into open houses as a kid, like just because I was curious about what the inside of houses look like. Walking into a space and being able to look beyond its current condition and see, the potential of a space is something that, I'm finding out that not everybody has the ability to do, but I definitely have an eye for it. And I do a lot of consulting with my clients in terms of, just getting their house market ready, even if it doesn't involve a lot of cost sometimes, basic things that can make it more attractive and appeal to more buyers.
Okay. And in finding those rehabs, do you find it a very aggressive process in finding the good opportunities? And what would you give someone who was looking to do rehabs? What tips would you give them as far as the stick-to-itness or the aggressiveness about how you have to go into a transaction?
So I mean, really, when you're looking at total profits or projected profits in a project, it really depends on the price that you buy it at. You stand a chance to make better spreads when you buy the property lower. So sometimes that means buying from a motivated seller. So properties that are on the MLS aren't always necessarily the best opportunities for fix and flips, just because you come in paying a little bit more, which means in the end you make a little bit less. Some people do it that way and they have some success, but I think you can definitely shoot for bigger profits if you were to, go straight to the sellers directly. So I'll give you an example. This wasn't necessarily a fix and flip, although I did do a rehab. When I bought my house, I was actually putting an offer in on a house around the corner. They accepted my offer, but my offer was contingent upon the sale of my old house. So I had to basically line it up so that it worked out time-wise that I would be able to sell my house, complete that transaction, and then purchase the new house within a matter of 3 days. We were scheduled. That was the difference.
Mm.
So everything was scheduled to work out just fine, but 3 days after accepting my offer, the sellers called me and told me that they went with another offer, same purchase price, no contingency. I understand, you know, I probably would have done the same thing, but I was so set on living in that area that I basically started like knocking on doors, door to door. I looked on Craigslist. I Googled every street name in the community to try to find opportunities. And I finally found a house that was listed on Craigslist for rent. So I called up the sellers and asked them if I could basically come and meet with them about buying the home. They weren't necessarily ready to sell because they felt like they wanted to do some work to bring it up to market value and get top dollar. But being that I have experience in rehabbing, I would prefer to buy a house that's not fully finished by someone else with their taste, you know? So I was actually looking for an opportunity to put a little money into it and make it my own. Um, we ended up negotiating a sales price and I bought it off market and we did all the negotiations right at their dining room table.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, awesome. So,
And then I was able to fix it up. Within 10 days, I did the rehab and moved in.
right, I remember. So, yeah, you definitely have a knack for that. So tell me, Yana, what advice would you give to a first-time home buyer right now in this market?
If you're considering buying a home, my suggestion is, you know, leverage the change that the market is taking. This is definitely no longer a seller's market. Buyers are in a little bit more of a position of power because there's more inventory. So I would say, you know, take your time, choose wisely, and leverage negotiation based on the market conditions.
Mm-hmm. And then what about your move-up buyer? So someone that's they had maybe a starter home that wasn't everything that they dreamed of, and now they're looking to make their next move. What advice would you give?
I just say, you know, think about your long-term goals. How long do you plan on being in a house? Like, for example, I just bought my house 2 years ago, but I know that I'm moving. It's not my forever home because it's a split level, like 4-level house. And the older my husband and I get, eventually we're going to want a single story home, you know? So I made it really nice and it's good for now, but I wish I had considered that just moving in because I really hate moving and I hate the process of having to like change everything. But not only that, my other piece of advice is to, if you can, put 20% down. I mean, it's not ideal for everybody, but if you're moving out of another house and you just did a sale, potentially there's proceeds. If you can put it down and avoid wasting money on PMI, put the 20% down. That's my best advice.
That's a good piece of advice, especially for someone who's selling a property and moving into another one. So yes, thank you.
Right. Now for first-time home buyers, you know, 3.5% can get you in the door. It's a great opportunity, but I always recommend putting the 20% down if you have it.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, Yana, I would like to thank you for joining us for Coffee and Conversation. I wanted to take this opportunity to share with my viewers one of our agents in the office here, in our virtual office. You are basically covering quite a bit of the Bay Area, right, Yana?
Yeah, so I actually focus on West Contra Costa County when it comes to retail sales, but my investments span anywhere from Sacramento to Fresno, and even I'm out of state.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you again, and thank everybody who joined us today for Coffee and Conversation, and we'll see you next Saturday. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me.